The next story I wanted to cover is about vaccines. It's a pretty sad story. This next clip I wanted to watch has Deanna Lorraine in it, and actually, this guy's name is Pete Santilli, and he's interviewing Deanna Lorraine on the subject of vaccines. So I figured we'd give this clip a watch and see what Pete Santilli and Deanna Lorraine had to say for themselves. Check it out.
The people now that are learning more about the adverse impact of getting vaccinated, they're having regrets about it because we're hearing about this shedding that's going on. And
okay, the shedding thing, that's fabricated. It's not real. It does not work that way. This is just propagandistic bullshit from the far right, as usual. This is the kind of shit I expect from them. I've read the fact check on this multiple times. It's just a complete fabrication. It is not based in reality. Let's keep listening.
Going on, and
the vaccine shedding,
and also the activation of the graphene oxide. It's actually sitting there dormant.
The graphene oxide thing, again, it's just fabricated bullshit. It has no basis in reality.
Activation of the graphene oxide. It's actually sitting there dormant, but if it gets energized by something like 5G, it actually kills all the cells around it.
And there we go. We've come full circle. Finally, they've come up with another conspiracy theory that explains the 5G network shit. Okay, let me let you guys in a little secret. The U.S. has some 5G infrastructure already. We aren't really using it very much, but Apple, I believe, sold their latest versions of phones that are 5G capable. Basically they use some of the same bands that you use with like a router and things like that. It's just the next version of cellular data. There's nothing dangerous about it. But David Icke, if you guys never heard of him, you should look him up. In fact, I should probably do a video on David Icke at some point. Conspiracy theorist extraordinaire. The father of a lot of the biggest conspiracy theories in the world right now. David Icke, I believe, came up with the lizard people conspiracy, claiming that the people at the top are actually lizard people, demons, and all of this other crazy shit. A lot of that came from David Icke. And this 5G thing, this came from David Icke too originally, I believe. I was waiting for somebody to bring the 5G stuff up again, and here we have a guy, Pete Santilli, trying to come up with a logical explanation for why the 5G conspiracies were real all along. In reality, there is no basis for any of this. It's completely fabricated, just like the shedding claims. Let's keep listening.
5G, it actually kills all the cells around it. That is so crazy to me. I mean, can you imagine if they just like activate and said, oh, all right, 1 million people are going to be gone.
Oh, okay, so we're taking another step into this. So what he's saying, he's not just saying that, like, 5G is dangerous or harmful to us or whatever. He is joining the dangerous 5G conspiracy with the vaccine conspiracy. Now he's saying the vaccine has a chemical in it that is activated by 5G networks, which, by the way, we're exposed to those bands all day long already, because of the sun, Wi-Fi access points, things like that. So he's combining the two now. 5G is now dangerous, and if the infrastructure appears in the U.S., which, as I said, it's already here, really, it'll kill anybody who got the vaccine. That's his claim. And interestingly enough, this actually joins a third conspiracy. A while back, I talked about this guy who believed that anybody who got vaccinated would be dead by the end of the year. You guys remember that shit?
I don't want money though, like...
I know you don't, but I don't know what else to do.
You didn't do this to Michael and Kelsey. They already got it.
Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I know that? Why do you think I'm fucking crazy? Your mother got it. Why do you think I'm fucking crazy? My family is gone. My family is gone. By the end of this flu season, most of you will be dead. What the fuck do you expect me to be?
Now he's found a perfect circle to link 3 different conspiracies together. Fascinating.
Just by energizing the graphene oxide.
And that's the thing. People don't really know exactly what's in it. You know, those people, the Biden, even Trump, any of these representatives, you know, they're not taking the real vaccine live on TV when they pretend that they do. You know that they're not that stupid. They're not doing that. They're leaving us to do that.
How do you know that? She's just hypothesizing. She's just making shit up. She's just making assumption after assumption after assumption. I see this shit on Reddit all the time. Reddit has a bad habit of like coming up with this idea that they think is pretty rock solid and then taking that as fact and then building another assumption on top of that and then another and another and another until it's just a big jumbled fucking mess of nonsense. It's completely unlinked from reality, but they state it as fact. It's a huge problem, really. How do you deal with like somebody who just straight up rejects reality around them? That brings us to the next clip I wanted to watch. This one's about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me give you a little bit of lead up to it, though. There's an article that talks about it. It was written by Kristen Dorer on rightwingwatch.org. The title is Marjorie Taylor Greene Suggests Second Amendment Should Be Used on Vaccinators. Let's give this article a read and see what it says. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene suggested that if vaccinators go door-to-door in Alabama offering the COVID-19 vaccine, Alabamans are entitled to use their Second Amendment rights, a reference to the constitutional provision that protects the right of citizens as part of a well-regulated militia to keep and bear arms. In making those comments, Greene appears to be misrepresenting door-knocking community members who encourage people to get vaccines as someone standing on your steps, needle in hand, coercing vaccinations. Alabama's hospitals are currently overrun with COVID-19 patients, partly due to the low vaccination rate in the state. Not only is she misrepresenting the door-knocking community members, encouraging people to get vaccinated, as someone standing on your steps, needle in hand, coercing vaccinations. And she's misrepresenting what the Second Amendment is for. And by saying that in the first place, she's hinting at or suggesting that people take matters into their own hands. This is terrorism. That's what this is. It's terrorism. I feel like we don't use that word enough when it's actually appropriate to be used. This is a perfectly appropriate use of the term. Marjorie Taylor Greene's basically encouraging people to anybody who comes to their door, encouraging them to get vaccinated. How is she not in fucking prison over this? This video is actually recorded apparently by one of David Pakman's fans. Turns out I actually like David Pakman. I think he's pretty on point a lot of the time. But really interesting, they got a recording of Marjorie Taylor Greene saying this. Let's give it a listen and see what she said.
And one more thing on that, you lucky people here in Alabama might get a knock on your door because I hear Alabama might be one of the most unvaccinated states in the nation.
Why are they cheering for that? They're suffering as a state, as a society. We all are. As a direct result of their actions. I have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These people are taking my right to life and fucking with it. They're playing with it. You have a right to swing your fist anywhere you want, except for right here at my nose. You can't swing it here. You not being allowed to swing your fist right here at my nose isn't a violation of your rights. It is a protection of mine. I understand that there's a fine line in, when you're dealing with rights like this between who has to get vaccinated and who should get vaccinated and who shouldn't have to if they don't want and all of that other stuff. I get that. But we live in a society, and by refusing to do this, you're putting everyone's lives at risk. Particularly people who can't get vaccinated for one reason or another, like their age or their health status, immunocompromised or whatever else. It's really disappointing to me to hear people actually cheering for this shit. For the record, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't think she realized this was being recorded. She probably wouldn't have given a shit anyway. She probably would have said this whether she's being recorded or not. But still.
He's going to be sending one of his police state friends to your front door to knock on the door, take down your name, your address, your family member.
Okay, so some serious misrepresentations happening right here. Let's listen one more time.
Of his police state friend.
No, it's not going to be a police state friend. She's implying that it's going to be like a member of the military or a member of the police coming to your door, forcing you to take a vaccine. That's not what's happening. No one has ever suggested that.
Or to knock on the door, take down your name, your address, your family members' names, your...
As if they don't have all that information already. As if it's not easily available. As if the census doesn't exist and it wasn't just taken last fucking year.
Phone numbers, your cell phone numbers, probably ask for your social security number.
They already have all that information. I don't know why Joe Biden would be sending someone around to collect it.
Number, and whether you've taken the vaccine or not.
Once again, they have all this information already. It's like people freaking out that they're going to get microchips implanted in them to follow them around. Are you serious? Why would they put so much time and effort into inventing this delicate technology, brand new fucking technology that requires a battery to power it? And what happens when that battery runs out? They're going to inject a microchip with a nano battery in it that will apparently last the rest of your life to track your movements. When they have one of these, like everyone carries one of these motherfuckers around, why would they give a shit? You think they're not following you on your phone? Of course they are. We've known about this for fucking ever. You remember Edward Snowden releasing those leaked documents about the PRISM project? I just don't get how this woman and her entire audience is completely unaware that the government doesn't even fucking need a microchip. They're already collecting all of the data they would have gotten from a microchip and more.
Security number, and whether you've taken the vaccine or not.
Silence.
Yeah, well, what they don't know is in the South, we all love our Second Amendment rights.
That's terrorism right there. I don't feel that the word terrorism is inappropriate in this situation. I feel like it's a perfectly appropriate word that fits the situation perfectly. She's a terrorist when she's encouraging people to do this shit.
And we're not real big on strangers showing up on our front door, are we? They might not like the welcome they get.
Yeah, I've actually heard some pretty scary stories from fellow Jehovah's Witnesses. At the time when I was a Jehovah's Witness, I heard a lot of scary shit. People had guns pointed at them and all kinds of stuff. People aren't really friendly to others showing up at their doorsteps. Being a census worker is actually dangerous. Being a social worker is even more dangerous. My God. Like a CPS worker or whatever. She's a terrorist, man, really. And honestly, after saying what she said, encouraging terrorism, that crosses my moral line for deplatforming. I definitely want her platform yanked, but that's bordering on crossing my moral line for jail. If you are actually encouraging violence against somebody, you should at least pay some kind of a penalty or something. I don't know. I'd have to think about it more. Let's read this article and see what it says. The video, which was taken surreptitiously by someone in the crowd at a private event in Alabama on July 23rd, was provided exclusively to The David Pakman Show, a nationally broadcasted progressive TV and radio talk show. I'm actually a David Pakman Show member. I get the bonus show and all that. Aren't you guys jealous? It's only like $2 a month. It's practically nothing. In it, the representative from Georgia tells the crowd that President Joe Biden might send one of his police state friends to Alabama's front door, and that Southerners love the Second Amendment rights and don't like strangers showing up at their front door. Greene went on to spread a conspiracy theory that Dr. Anthony Fauci was to blame for the spread of COVID-19. I actually, I cut that part out because it was a little bit less relevant to the rest of it. This is a quote from the end of the clip, a part we didn't watch. Dr. Fauci funded with your tax dollars. He funded it in the Wuhan lab, didn't he? He funded COVID-19, the gain-of-function research. That's his baby. That's his experiment, and he's getting to watch it in the real world like a live television show where he has front row seats. He gets to watch what happens. So this man sent your tax dollars, my tax dollars, through a third party to the Wuhan lab where a gain-of-function was used to take a virus, that was spread between animals, and it was changed into a virus that spread between humans all over the world. And they're dying, and they're still dying. Again, complete conspiracy theory. As if I even need to say that. Right Wing Watch said it for me. It's nonsense. This is Right Wing Watch again. Greene's comments about deploying one's Second Amendment rights seem to be in reaction to comments Biden made on July 6th about getting more people vaccinated to prevent further spread of COVID-19. Now we need to go community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors, to help get the remaining people protected from the virus, he said at a press conference. Obviously, Biden didn't mean he's going to go to somebody's door and throw a fucking vaccine dart at them and force it down their throats without their consent. That's not what it's about. But it takes time and money sometimes to get to a location where you can get vaccinated. You've got to at least pay the travel expenses, the subway fare, the bus fare, the gas money to get to a pharmacy where you can actually get the vaccine. So I would be in favor of people going door to door asking others if they want to take the vaccine. I have no problem with that. What's wrong with that? I don't understand. Ultimately, there really isn't anything wrong with that. There's nothing bad about sending people door to door asking if they want the vaccine. It's just more public demonization that just got real when she suggested people the door to door vaccine workers. We are at a new level now in public discourse.